Now I am going to show you how to integrate the Stripe payment gateway with Laravel 11. So first I am going to install a fresh Laravel application in my computer. So I am going to this location, for example, into my main root, that means www, there is a Laravel 11 folder, and here I will install the fresh Laravel application. So I am going to open the terminal in this location, and here into the Laravel 11, here I am going to run the command to install the Laravel 11. So to install the latest Laravel, I will have to call the composer command. So this is composer, then create project, then Laravel/Laravel, and then I am going to give a name here for the application, for example, payment Stripe. So just wait for some time, you'll see that the Laravel new application is going to be installed in my computer, and it is done. Okay, so you see the payment Stripe, this is a fresh Laravel 11, and so I am going to run it first. So in order to run it, you see, in order to run it, here I am going to enter into the folder that is payment Stripe. So I am now into the payment Stripe folder. I am going to clear the terminal. Okay, so I am into this location now, and now I am going to run php artisan migrate. So nothing to, sorry, so I will have to run php artisan serve. So a development server is going to run here, so I am going to paste it here. So you see, this is the front end of the newly installed Laravel 11, and you see in the bottom it is showing Laravel 11.6.0, and the PHP version I am going to be used here, that is PHP 8.3.1. okay, so this task is done. Now I wrote something in order to integrate the Stripe on my computer. I put all the steps here. Okay, so I will just show you how to do that, very easy. Just first I am going to here in my editor, and I am going to open the payment Stripe folder with my editor. Here you will see there is a .env file, and in that .env file I will make here, you see by default the database connection name is SQLite, but I am going to use here MySQL. Okay, so I will use MySQL here. But before going there, I am going to show you something that is in the resources views, there is welcome. So I am going to remove this and just going to put something that is testing. So this is the main default blade file that is going to run here. So I am going to refresh, you see testing is showing here. So this is the file that is showing in front of me. And another important thing is route, and here web.php, this is the default route. Welcome blade file it is going to call. That means this is the main route, and when you are going to hit into the main URL, then it is going to be open this view file, that is welcome view. So in the welcome I write just testing, and that is showing here, very easy. So now I am not going to put this, I am going to put something special here, that is I am now going to open this Stripe _Laravel _11.txt file. This is my help file. I am going to log in into this using this email into my Stripe account. You see, this is the Stripe account that I have logged in, and here if I go to the profile, you will see this is my email address, and this is the email that I write here, and here the publishable key is here into the developer, and API keys, you will see this is the publishable keys, and this key I put here, and another one was actually the secret key, and this one, and I put this one here. And there are some step test cards that I will use to check the step payment using any of these cards. I will show you that later. So what is my steps, my step now, that is I will install a Stripe package in my computer from here, that is GitHub package. So if you search in Google and search by GitHub package, you will get that GitHub Stripe. If you search Google, you will get that. And this is the GitHub page and Stripe PHP. If you go here in the bottom, you will see that it gives you the command to install the Stripe, this one, right? So I put that here into my doc file to make my task easy. So I just copy it, and from the terminal of the browser I can easily run this. So payment Stripe, it is showing, sorry, I am not going to use this. Actually the composer command I will have to run. So install package is here, but the command will be this one. I copy this from here, command will be this one. Okay, so this one I will have to run. So I am going to the terminal, paste it, composer required, okay, enter. You will see that the step package is going to be installed in my application. So wait for some times. Yes, the application is done, installation is done. If you go to the vendor, you will see now a Stripe, this one. Okay, so it is installed perfectly. Now my task is I will have to call something into my env file. So I am going to open my env file now here, and in the bottom I am going to paste it. So this is a variable, that is a Stripe. It is environmental variable. You can put any variable name here. I give here a Stripe test pk. Publishable key, I give the short name pk. You can give any name in this variable. And another one is a step test secret key. Okay, you can give any name here. So I just put my publishable key and secret key here into the .env file, and into the config I will create a file. I will create a config file here, that will be, for example, a stripe.php. okay, and here what code I will have to write, I already have given here the instruction. Into the config folder you will have to create this file and then copy this content and paste it here. This is the content here. Return, here it is showing what is syntax error. Okay, so here it will be a Stripe pk, here single quote missing, like this. Okay, so it will be actually single quote missing here, this one. Okay, so here this environmental variable, it is loading from here. That means the information that is saved in this variable, that means my publishable key, it will come actually here. And the main variable is Stripe pk, and here it is Stripe sk. I will return this value, that means I will have this in my hand because I put this into the config file. Okay, so I can call this by the config anytime. So after this step I will have to, I am going to the view, so I am going to replace the welcome blade.php. here I paste the code here, but before going there I put a nice HTML format, then paste it here like this. I can use a good format here like this one, h2, and here I can put h3. okay, so like this, and pay with Stripe is okay. And another input value that is hidden, that is input type hidden, name, price, value 20. For example, the price of the mobile phone, for example, $10, not 20. I give here $10. okay, mobile phone, no problem. The route is Stripe. For now I am going to remove this because I did not create any route yet. Just load the page, how it looks like. You see, product is this, price is this. If I click here, it will take me to the Stripe, so I'll use that way. So now I give here the config file, that is route Stripe. So as I give route here, if I want to run it, you will see there is a error because I did not define any route into the web.php. So into the web.php I will have to create route. Here you see that total 3 routes I will have to create. I am going to copy and paste it here, but there is no controller here. I call the Stripe controller. I did not create it yet, so I will have to create it first. So in the terminal write php artisan make controller, and I will create the Stripe controller. So enter. You will see into the app http controllers folder there is a Stripe controller, this one. Okay, So this is my main controller, and I will have to write the functions here. So here if you come, you will see that this controller is called into the web.php into the top, and then I create a total 3 routes. One is post route for Stripe, and for success and cancel I use the get route. Okay, so step controller, Stripe, success and cancel, total 3 methods. All the methods are given here, don't worry. I will work with migration, but after some times I am going here. In the top I will have to create a model. Actually there is no model, but not now, I will do that later. For now I will do some other steps, that is as a Stripe is a post route, because what will happen when you will click here pay with a Stripe, then it will take you to the checkout page of a Stripe. Then there I will receive some request, so that will be a post route. So because you see in the welcome I submit the information using the form, so it will actually go to the Stripe, and that will be a post. You see, this is a post. As this is a post route, so here I will have to call function public function Stripe, and here request of request I will have to write this, because this is a post route, right? I am going to copy this one, and this is a step documentation. And in the step documentation you will see that in the documentation you can search by quantity checkout or something like that. You can check by anything. For now here a step checkout, and here under the checkout option you will see there is a code that is in the bottom. I am going to search line, make line items quantity adjustable. Go here and you will see some code here. This is curl code. I am going to select my programming language. I am going to use the PHP actually. So the PHP language format is this. You will have to use this code. So this code already has given here. I am going to copy all the codes from this function and paste it into here. I will explain, don't worry. Here you will see that this is a Stripe client. This function is given by Stripe. They tell me to use in this way, right? So what I do, I just copy the code that they give me and paste it here. And you will see here there is a config stripe.sk. Why I write this? If you go here, you will see that here that straight put the secret key. You can also do that, but in order to make it standard, so I put that into the env file. Then from here I copy that here, and as this is into the config folder, so in order to run anything into the config folder I will have to use the config function. So into the config function I give this as a parameter, to get the secret key. So that is given here, that into the config. This config function means I am pulling something from the config folder, and the folder the file name is Stripe, so I call Stripe dot, this is the variable name, that is Stripe sk. So I get the secret key in this way, and this is the Stripe. And here you see in the price data I give the product data name. This name actually come from where? Here you see request product name, request price, and there is request quantity also. So here I can do one thing, product is this. Here more hidden fields I am going to write. One is you see product name, right? So here I call product name. For example, the product name is mobile phone, so this one I put here. Another one is quantity. For example, one piece I will buy, and the one piece price is $10. So in this way, so this is the price, and then there is quantity. So all this data will be sent using the hidden form fields here. Okay, and then I will use the parameter in this way, because these are dynamic parameters. One important thing to mention here, that in the case of a Stripe you must have to convert the unit amount into cents. So it comes into USD. When I will multiply it with 100, then it will come into cents, and that will be actually the unit amount. So you must have to do this action here. Mode equal to payment, success URL equal to route success, and the session ID equal to this one, checkout session ID. This is by default, remember it. So you can use that here you see success URL, there is no parameter, but in my case it will come because when you will submit you will go to the checkout page, then in the top you will see a URL like this. For example, if I go here, if I click pay on Stripe, just look at the URL. Okay, so here is some URL here you will see, and in this URL checkout.stripe.com, but here in the success URL, when it will be succeeded, if I pay something, if I give email, card information, etc., it will take me to a page. You will understand. I am going to do one thing, that is I am going to pull the response here. Okay, what will be the success URL? I am going to show you. So let's do that. How I got that checkout session ID, you will understand. This is default that you will have to use the checkout session ID, but how I call the parameter, let's do that. The sample step card is this one, a 4242234. okay, sorry, it is not this, it is email. Email, you can give any email here. This is the card, and here this is the CVV number, name is my name. Click on pay. The processing is going to be done, and when it is succeeded, you see that there is an error, that is okay, but you in the top you will see that success question session ID equal to this one. You do not know what will be this because this will be a variable. So checkout session ID, and this session ID equal to this, actually exactly what is given here, success question session ID equal to this. So up to success, this is actually a success URL, then question session ID equal to this. So in this way I write this one, because when it will be succeeded, I will get that data into another place. For example, if this is successful, then I will check if there is any response ID. Okay, if there is any ID in the response, here is response ID because I actually get the data, right? So in this case, what will happen, actually there is no success, so I am not going to get anything, and some error is showing. I am going to do one thing, that is success but not request. Okay, and there is cancel, not view success, it will be return success, and here I call return, this is cancel. So like this. So if so, you see this is success. Okay, so if you want, you can, if I want to show the response here, refresh. No response not coming here. Okay, the link is actually expired, so you cannot call this 2 times. I am going to again there. Now you see when I call here, there are some response here. So how I get that? Because DD response, I get all the data here, right? You see when I click here, all the ID, this is actually the main ID here. You must have to get the response ID. All these things are into my response variable, because you see response equal to all these things. So in the response variable, I have all the data that you are seeing here. So this is the ID. So I am going to check if there is actually any ID. So if there is any response ID, then, and it is not equal to null, then only you will proceed to the next step. And here you see there is a return redirect, that is response URL, right? So where you will redirect, this is response URL, it will take you there. So where you will get the response URL, here there is a response URL. You see when there is any success, this one give me the success URL. You see success question session ID equal to this. So Stripe is giving me this, right? And URL is this. You see response of URL. What is the URL? In the last you will see there is the URL. So it will take you to this URL. So if your key is wrong, if your secret key is wrong, you will not be able to see the Stripe checkout page. That means from your application it will give you an error, and you will be taken to the cancel page. You will not be able to see the checkout page. that sometimes ago you already saw. So I will stop him here, right? And if everything is okay, if I get this stop, I do not need to see the response. I will just redirect it to the external URL, right? That means it will take the user to this URL now. Now try again. I am going back, click here, you see it is taking me to the URL. I hope you got you understood. Okay, so when it is taking me to the URL, then something will be happened. When something will be happen, that means if you get the response, where you will receive that, because when you will pay here, you give your email, you give your card information, if you give your email name, etc., then pay. If the payment is done or not, how you will understand? So there is another step. So after the response URL, you will get some data here in the success. So there must be another request from here using the success. So here you will have to use a parameter, that is request of request. Then I will check if the session ID, there must have a session ID. So I am going to check the session ID. If the session ID is okay, then this will be happen. So I am going to copy this, and in my function here I am going to paste it. This is not needed, I am going to remove. Okay, what is actually done here? If this is successful, that means if there is any payment done, then what will happen? Then you will get another response here. So I do one thing so that you can understand DD response. What is coming here, I will show you. So you see this page is okay, you are allowed. So you come here, now I pay here, for example like this, sample card information I am going to give here, like this, like this. If I click on pay, what will happen now? When every success is done, you see another response. This is which response? This response, success response. So if successful, that means you see there is a session ID, right? So if the request has a session ID in the success, so what will happen? You see there is the ID. If this success response, that means if there is anything in the success, that means it is not null actually, right? So what will happen? You will have to save the data into the database, because you know the real payment is done. So you can easily save the step data into your database now. So I will do that next step task now. So as there is a session and you have data into session and you set session is okay, then the stripe is this and this one, and now I will call the model. I do not have any model and I do not have any table, so I will have to now enter the data into the database table. I do not have any table yet, so I will do the steps now. So first I am going to create a migration, PHP artisan make migration, and then create payments table. Okay, so you can create the payments table now. The migration file is created. If I go to the database, and here you see into the migrations, this is the migration file. Now what I will do, I will create my migration codes here that I already have written here in the top, this one. So I am going to copy these codes and here I am going to paste it. That means when I will run the migration command after this, then these fields will be created into the payments table, but there is no database yet. If I want, I can go to env file, and here I will change that DB connection to MySQL now, MySQL. Okay, and then I am going to unblock this because I will need this for MySQL. My database connection is established and my database name is, for example, you can give any name here, payment stripe, you can give this name. Database username is root, and in my case password is this, but in your case it can be different. Okay, so this should work. And if there is no table by this name, then it will there is no database by this name, it will create a database by this name. No problem. And what information from the user I will save here, that is the payment ID, the product name, the product quantity, amount, currency, peer name, email, status, payment method, etc. information I will save, for example. So in the terminal I am going to run php artisan migrate. You see it is asking me because there is no database in my table. So here I call this is my PHP MyAdmin, but there is no database here by this name. So it is asking me if I want to create that database by this name, payment stripe. So I am going to press enter. Okay, so two things happen, that is database is created and migration is done. So refresh, you see this one is created, payment stripe, and here after the migration as migrate is run, so you will see all the tables are created here: cache table, cache logs, failed jobs, etc. My main custom table that I created and that I added the fields for which, that is payments. All others are by default made by Laravel. I did not create anything for those. I only created this one. So I only created this one, that is the payments. If I go here, you will see all the fields are created, but there is no information here. This is the structure, payment ID, product name, etc. given here. In the browse there is no information. So now let's do this task. That means in the step controller, this one, and in the top I will have to call the model, but I do not have any model now, as I will use the eloquent system in order to save the data into the database. I am going to create php artisan make model, then model name will be the singular name of the migration files, that is singular name of the database table. So this is payment, because my table name is payments, so model name will be singular form, so payment, enter. So model is created. If you go here app models, and here you will see payment.php, that means the payment model is created. I am not going to modify anything here. So now I will just put the use app models payment in the top. Then this payment function will work, because this is the eloquent system, you know. So here payment equal to, I create a new object of this payment function. So payment equal to new payment, this is the model name, and payment ID equal to response of ID. Which is response of ID? You see in my case here there is an ID, so I have this ID in my hand, so I will have to save that into that database table. You can save it or not, but I am going to save it. The product name is session. The session is very important. When before going to the success section in the stripe, when I first time check if the secret key is okay or not, if the payment is possible or not, when I am going to check, when I go into the checkout page, before going to that page, I save the user information into here. Some important information that will be lost, because the product name, quantity, price, if I put into a session variable, that will be convenient for me to use those later. Because when I am going to step checkout page, that means I am already out from my application. So when a step throw me to my success page, how I will get the information? That means how I will get the quantity, price, and name. That is a problem. So in order to solve that problem, before sending the user to the checkout of the stripe, I just saved all these important information into session variables. And here in this case, when I save the data into the database, I have that session variable into my hand. So into the product name table field, I am going to use that information. That means session get of product name. And in the similar way, session get quantity as a quantity, and session get price as a amount. And the currency is response of currency. You see the whole response that comes here is actually as an object. So I will have to use the currency, right? So you see the currency equal to USD in this case. So response of currency. In this way I will have to pull the information. And similar way, customer name, where I will get the customer name, customer email. You see response customer detail name, where that is I am into the response. Then customer detail, you see customer details. If I click here, you see all the customer data are here, that is address, email, name, phone, etc. So I have email and name and address from here. So in this way I get the customer name and email. And payment status, you know the status. You can state hard code here, you can write here manually that completed, or if you want you will get the status as completed from this line. This is complete, right? And another one is payment method step. You know you are going to implement the step payment gateway, so you can straight right here the Stripe. So the data will be saved into the database, and then payment is successful, this message will be shown. And then all the session data you will have to remove, because those are not needed. So for the security purpose you will have to unset all the sessions. I am going to comment the DD now. My task is almost done. Now I will have to just check everything if it works. So this is my application, but before going to check, I am going to the payment sections, all payments, and okay, these two are checked because I checked those payments. Now $10. Now I am going to check with $20. Okay, so I am going to close this one, and here into the welcome I increase the price 20 and here 20. Okay, so now let's check it if 20 comes here as a payment, and also that will be saved here. Currently it is empty. So sorry, I am going to put PHP my admin. Okay, so here this is the database, this is the table. Okay, this is currently empty. Now I am going to pay. So pay with a Stripe. It takes me here. Here I give test gmail.com. This is the Stripe card, for example. If you give a wrong card, for example like this, you see this is the wrong card. Sorry, this is the wrong card. Your card number is invalid, so you must have to give a valid card, otherwise Stripe will not take the card. So here like this, and here is like this. I give my full name here and click on pay button. The payment is going to be processed, and after the payment is processed, it takes me sorry, customer name it is not going to get. The customer name, actually here my name is pair name, not customer name, so there is a mistake. I am going to check. This is payment. I mess this information again with my database table, what I did. So payment ID, product name, quantity, amount, payment ID, product name, quantity, amount, currency, customer name, currency, here pair name, pair email. Okay, pair name, pair email, and payment status, payment method. Okay, payment status, payment method. Okay, again I am going to do the same thing. Actually payment is done, everything is okay, but the problem is for the database saving. If you come into the step, you see the payment is done. Probably I am going to check. Yes, payment is done, but the problem is here, right? The problem is here. Okay, so let's do that again. I am going to refresh it. Pay with a Stripe, $20. Okay, test rfin@gmail.com. So here I am going to click on pay. You see payment is successful. If I go to the payments table, you see this is the payment ID, product name coming, quantity, amount is 20 USD, pair name, pair email, and payment status complete, payment method Stripe. So it is working. And if you go to the Stripe now, here if I go to the transactions, you see that $20 comes here now in this transaction, testarifin@gmail.com, what I did right now. So in both the cases it is working. That means the payment is done in the stipend and also in the database. After the successful transaction, the information is going to be saved here. So I hope you have understood how to integrate the step payment gateway with Laravel 11.